Welcome back friends, this is Fraser from Art Studio. So friends, today we'll be learning something very special in ZBrush. As you can see, this kind of fur sculpted on the characters where we need to create certain detail of hair of fur. We can create this very easily by creating something called the VDM brush. So a VDM brush is simply vector displacement mesh. So it's an alpha created from a mesh, which when used as a brush gives you some height displacement through the white and black and the gray channels. As you know, white gives you the height, black gives you the depth based on your brush created. So without further ado, let us quickly see how it's created. So first take any of the tools, move down to initialize. So if you scroll down to initialize, you just need to increase the subdivisions and click on Q grid. It will create a Q grid. Hit the edit button. Your Q grid is active now. Okay, from the front view. If you try to sculpt something over here, you can see that it is not giving you a smooth sculpting result, right? So to fix this, we'll simply subdivide it a few more times. So before subdividing, keep in mind, we don't want the corners of this plane to get smoothened or to retract. So we'll turn off the smooth and then subdivide it a few times. So now if I try to sculpt something, it's giving us a pretty smooth result, right? If you want, you can subdivide it even a few times more than this. I have 3 subdivisions currently. You can turn on the smooth back once more, once that's done. So this is the basic setup. If you want, you can change the material. If you don't like this, we can go to the matte gray. So we'll be sculpting something stylized fur. Okay. If you want to check out a few references, you can check out. There are various kinds of stylized furs we can create. Uh, if you just check the images over here, something like this. For this tutorial, I'll keep it simple and have a few types of brushes, VDM brushes created for you to get the idea. So first of all, we'll mask off the portion we want to create the fur for. So let's say we have something like this to start with as the mask portion. To pull it out, we'll be using the move brush instead of directly using the gizmo and pulling it out like this. Okay, so BMV for the move brush, we'll scale the brush out and scale it in more and try to see that this portion from where it will emerge, the root you can say, should be along the plane a little more and gradually it will lift up more and more towards the tip. So the tip should be highest to give you more a kind of displacement, right? And we also need a few undercuts, a little bit of undercut in the sense that there should be some part going within. That way, we'll have enough space to accommodate for other hairs or the other fur, which will be overlapping, right? So I'll pull this up a little more, pull this down a little more, like so, smoothen it out a bit. As you can see, I'm not using symmetry or anything of that sort. It's an organic sculpt. Okay. Try to avoid coming too close to this border. Let's create a few basic strands of fur. For that, we can use the clay builder brush. So BCB shortcut for that. So you can have some broad ones like this. So to make it feel like fur, it's always good to have some curves going around like this. Okay, that's it. Uh, you can now use a smaller size brush, making it a little more prominent. Okay, like so. And then if you want, you can use the damn standard brush things. So, right? So once you get the idea of the whole thing, how you want to go about it, it feels good. You can use the trim dynamic brush and give it a stylized look. Flatten these portions. Okay, let's see how it's going. If you want, you can smooth it out a little bit. Just smooth these parts. If it's looking too sharp, smooth it a bit, right? Like so. You can use the pinch brush as well, BPI, to pinch it and get these portions a little more well defined, so to speak. And then finally you can give it final trim dynamic. Okay, so I'm relatively happy with this look now, and so we have this. And if you want, you can have a duplicate of this mesh so that we can create more, right? So I'll just rename this ff underscore fur 01, right? And then let's duplicate this mesh. Okay, so we have a duplicate mesh. I'll turn the duplicate off for now, and I'll show you the current one, which is what we have done. Okay, so now that we have this, before we convert this into a VDM brush, it's very important for us to check whether the rest of the plane is still aligned along the axis or not. Okay, so in order to check that, we'll simply mask these outer surfaces from all the sides. So that's why I suggested you to stay far from this bottom. Anyways, it's fine. So with that done, just invert it. Okay, now this is what should be completely along the grid. So to if there is any by chance any kind of deformation, we can simply go to deformation and get it back right on the grid. So we can just move this to morph to grid, and that portion will be again flat along the grid. Okay, so with this, our first fur is ready, or the first subtool model for the fur is ready, right? Now we need to convert this to a VDM brush. How do we do that? There are a couple of ways. We can either go to the brush palette and then create from there. We can create a multi-alpha brush from here, or we can simply go to the brush palette from here, hitting the B button, and then select we want to add it to, right? So if you want to add it to the chisel 3D brush, which has all these kinds of VDM brushes with character features and appendages, okay, parts and all, like eyes, ears, and nose, and all that stuff. You can do that. So you can select that, and then simply you can go to your brush palette by hitting B and create multi alpha brush. Okay, now that we have a single brush and we have a duplicate without any changes made to this, so it's better you make some changes to this before you convert them to a VDM brush. So I'll just modify this very quickly and have a variant. Okay, so let's do that. I'll increase the brush size and use the move brush VMV, right? And let's see what we can do with this. I think we can make it a little broader. So I'll pull this out a bit. Okay, we won't keep this as narrow as the previous one. We'll keep the shape slightly different. So that way you can see the first sculpt which I have done, that will also have effect on it. If you want to have some kind of variation with that, you can have that. So something like this, just to give it a different look. That's all. So if you want to do some pinching like this, so you can do that. Want to smoothen out, you can do that. Or if you want to modify it a little more, you can do that as well. So I'll just do something like this. Standard. So this is good enough for the second variation. And since we had already named the first one as FF401, this is named as FF402 automatically as we duplicated it. So good. Now, as you know, we need to check whether we are going in the right path. So for that, we'll just mask out these border portions, invert it, and then go back to our deformation tab and morph to grid. So that should do it good. Okay. So with that done, now we have two variations of this fur. Okay. As you can see the difference. Okay. This is the narrow one and this is the broader one, right? So we have these two. Now let's convert this to a VDM brush. So for that, simply we'll need to go to the brush we want to add it to, brush palette, take the brush we want to add it to, the brush palette, chisel 3D, or chisel creature, or organic, okay, whichever one you want to take, okay, just select that. So based on that, you will have these VDM brushes already there, lots of stuff, appendages and all, which are normally used for organic. As you can see, we already have a few over here. So if you want to add to that, you can add to that. Or if you want to create a separate uh, brush, you can do that as well. Mm, let's take the standard brush and click B. And then you'll get an option under this as create multi-alpha brush, which you will get it over here as well under the brush palette, create multi-alpha brush. Okay. So if you click on this, you will be having your own set of two VDM brushes which you have created, right? Over here. And if you select another palette brush like the chisel creature, chisel organic brush, you will be adding it to that palette. Okay, so if you want to do that, you can add it there. If you want to create your own palette, you can do that as well. So it's best to create your own personal palette. So have done that, these two first. Further, if you want to make more alterations and modifications or variations, you can add to the same palette by selecting this brush palette and then creating the multi-alpha brush from there. Okay, so let's check it out. So let's check it first on this basic with a few smooth subdivisions added to this cylinder. So just taken a simple cylinder, added a few subdivisions, we'll convert this to a polymesh 3D. Okay, now with this brush selected, and as you can see with the brush mesh, we have the strokes as this dots, and we have the alpha coming from the brush, right? So this is what is going to uh, work on the mesh, creating the displacement, creating the depth and details, right? And most importantly, while using the VDM brush, we need to change this strokes type to drag, okay? Because we'll be dragging it out and increase the intensity furthermore. So as you can see, with the first brush, we get something like this. And since I have kept this portion a little, uh, given it a nice little feather, I can easily transit over it without any kind of too much of overlapping artifacts, so to speak. You can use the second mesh, second medium brush. You can see over here, which is broader. So same, you can use it like this, right? All right. So this looks pretty good. Last but not the least, don't forget to save your brushes. Okay. So in order to save the brush, simply go to your brush panel, and you can see over here save as. So you can save this. So previously I had saved this scale, so this time I'll be saving it as for 01. Okay, right? So ZBP ZBrush. Okay, the brush has been saved. So let's try it on this basic cat head sculpt I have done very quickly to show you how it looks on this kind of a character. Select the head mesh on the tool of the head, and with this brush selected already, we have in the brush panel over here. So we had named it as FF. So as soon as you click on B and then F, since I had named it as FF, you will find my brush over here, FF401, right? I have other brushes as well on my name. Customized brush I've created. If you want these brushes, you can simply click the link I will be providing you in the description below. You can download it from there. I'll give it as a freebie. But don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet. And if you like this video and you watched so far and learned something from it, certainly like and share. And if you have any queries, please let me know. So with this brush selected, let's try it out. All right, not bad. Okay. That's pretty cute, isn't it? Let's create a few over here. Turn off the symmetry. Oh, it looks adorable. Want, you can use the second brush. Let's turn on symmetry once more. So there you go. One more tip: if you're not getting your brush in ZBrush, when you open it once more, let's say I open it and I press F, I'm not getting that fur brush, right? Although it's been saved, but it's not loaded onto my brush palette or the brush menu. I have the previous ones, not the fur. Okay, so if you want it to load whenever you want or always, uh, let's turn off the ZBrush now first. I don't need to save it for now. and go to the location where you have saved. So we had saved the brush, but it's not saved to the document folder. Brush will load it every time it starts. Okay, so we need to save it there. So copy the brush which we have saved. So ff_01. This is the brush. So I'll copy it. If you can copy and drag and drop, anyways, go to the program files in your C drive. Look for your ZBrush folder. Within the ZBrush folder, you'll find Z Startup. Okay. Inside Z Startup, you'll find brush presets, and within the brush presets, you have a lot of brushes which you have downloaded or created yourself. You paste it there. So I'll paste this one here, FF4 into this. And now if we load ZBrush, it should appear on startup. Okay. So I'll just open the recent project. I'll just open this once more very quickly. Open the brush palette B, and if you know your name the brush, you've named it. I've named it as FF Fur. So as you can see, and every time you open ZBrush, it will load it automatically. So as you can see, the shortcut is F, starts with F, and it has two brushes over here. So it shows you two, and we are ready to go. Okay. So obviously, if you want to test it once more, select the subtool you want to use it on, and then test it. So pretty good, right? So friends, I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and you have learned this final tip as well, and you can use it. Goodbye. Take care. Love you all.